I'm literally begging you to do nothing for men. Men do not want you to do anything for them. Don't justify it by saying men say they want this and say they want that. Your romantic life will change drastically when you understand this one very important concept. Stop listening to what men say they want and start paying attention to what men actually respond to. And in this video, I'm going to break down what that concept actually means, how you're going to implement it in your dating life, and how you're going to use doing nothing to get the response from men that you actually want. We're going to start off by discussing investing in yourself, because I promise you, once we connect the dots around this concept, everything for you will start to click and everything else will make sense. Men are the most attracted to the woman who invests the heaviest in themselves, not the woman who invests the heaviest in them. Let me break down this concept so it makes more sense to you. Let's think about when a guy approaches you at a party or at an event, what he actually is saying when he's saying how attracted or desirable you are. He'll say things like, wow, you're so beautiful. What is that speaking towards? How you take care of yourself. Oh my God, your skin is glowing. How you take care of yourself. Oh my God, you're so intelligent. How you take care of yourself. Oh my God, your body is amazing, so tight. How you take care of yourself. Notice, everything that a man would likely compliment you on is a compliment about not how you invest in other people, not how you invest in him, but how you invest in you. So when we understand that concept, then we have to understand that your value is really placed in how well you can consistently invest in yourself. And focus on investing in yourself while putting yourself out there that will allow men to be attracted to you. This is why I say stop listening to what men say they want, because they'll tell you that they're most attracted to the girl who can cook and clean the best for them. They'll tell you that they're most attracted to the girl who can wash their underwear the best and who does this for them and does that for them. But in reality, what they respond to, what they're attracted to, what they'll compliment you on is the fact that you invest in yourself so well that you have a glow. That you invest in yourself so well that he was attracted to you, he felt your energy from across the room. So I want you to stop thinking about attraction as it relates to what you can do for men. And I want you to start thinking about attraction as it relates to how much more can I do for myself, and focus all of your time and energy on doing for yourself. And then subsequently after that, putting yourself out there, which just means going out, doing things. Doesn't have to be to the club. It could be to anywhere, to allow your energy, your glow, your investment in you to attract those high quality men. Next, this is going to sound kind of weird, but I want you to stop calling and texting. Now, this is a plague. It's a virus that will take over your mind, and I'm here to ease your mind. Understand, once that man has your number in his phone, has your contact information, that means if he's not sending you a message, if he's not asking you out, if he's not checking up on you, if he's not calling or texting you in any capacity, that means it's an active choice. I want you to breathe that in and breathe it out. Because sometimes it's very easy when you're in the moment and you like the guy and you want to be with him, to convince yourself of all of these different alternate realities, perspectives, possibilities, that maybe he's not contacting me because A, B, and C. Maybe work, maybe he got busy, maybe he had a tragedy, maybe he just doesn't want to reach out to you. Either way, your job is to do nothing. Why? Because when men make an active choice to reach out to you, it's because they have a desire to reach out to you, speak to you, and get some time of yours. What I mean by that is you have to understand men need to go through their own cycle of realizing how much they miss you, realizing that they have a desire to speak to you, acting on that desire to speak to you, reaching out to you, getting access to you in some way, shape, or form by getting a response from you either on the phone, over text, or being able to organize a date with you. And then when they get that response from you, when they're able to get access to you, they get a hit of dopamine and they're happy because they're like, wow, my desire to see her And the action that I took on that desire is what led to me being able to get access to her. And because I realized how much I wanted to see her and I acted on that desire, I'm now being able to get a chance to sit down with this woman, to talk to her, to have a conversation with her. And I'm having all of these good positive emotions because of it. You need to understand men must go through that process. Anytime you're feeling anxious, I want you to remind yourself like you're brainwashed. Men need to go through their own process. Men need to go through their process. Men need their process. What I mean by that is they have to go through their ebbs and flows of understanding that they desire you, acting on that desire, and being rewarded for acting on that desire. You are doing him a disservice because when you interrupt that process, he doesn't get a chance to recognize how much he desires you. Next, I'm going to tell you to stop stalking men. Okay? Stop going through the Instagram, stop going through the Snapchat, stop going through all his stories, all the stuff that he could possibly post. Why? Even though that feels like sometimes, well, how is that doing something? You're doing something because you're doing something for his ego. You're making him feel like the most important person in the world. What also ends up happening is you will slowly but surely snowball into the crazy girl or the crazy girlfriend or the crazy side chick that is always watching every single little thing he's doing. And then you'll turn into that girl that's picking up the phone and calling him and saying, why haven't you texted me in 2 hours? I know you're at that restaurant because I watched Josh's story and I saw your hand and your hair in the back and I seen you facing this one girl. Who's that girl you talking to on that story? I promise you, once you start doing that, you will go from the category of queen, the woman that he worships, the woman he puts on a pedestal, to crazy woman that he has to stiff arm to get away from me. This is why I say, don't listen to what men say they want, because they'll say things like, oh, I love my girl a little bit crazy. I love when my girl's all over me. I love when my girl's calling me up and spam texting me and asking me where I'm at. That's what they say. And then when they receive that crazy woman, all they do is tell their friends, yeah, man, she crazy. I got to get away from her. Yeah, let's not tell my girl about this. You know how she be, right? And all he does is disrespect you. All he does is go behind your back. All he does is feel like in his mind that you aren't as desirable as the other women who aren't acting that way towards him. So they don't actually respond to the crazy woman. They don't actually respond to the stalker woman. They respond to the girls who seem to care less about them because they're so focused on what? Investing in themselves. Next, I want you to stop telling men everything that you're doing 24/7. This is another way to easily kill his attraction towards you. See, I know that you hear men say, oh, I love a woman who will tell me everything that she's doing 24/7, be super open with her communication and just super forward and not make me guess or think about anything. And then all of a sudden you realize that you're actually doing him a disservice because what he really wants, based on what he really responds to, is to desire you, is to fantasize about you, is to wonder about you. Why? Because as a woman, you are wonderful. And I want you to think about this concept. Why is it that when we depict men in the army, we talk about them kissing their medallion and looking at their picture of their wife as inspiration and motivation to keep on going? And they dream about her when they're away from her. Because men have a natural desire to wonder and fantasize about women, and a natural desire to build them up in their mind and think about them when they're not around. You have to understand, men are naturally going to do that with any woman they're attracted to and that they desire. So allow that process to take place by doing nothing. It doesn't mean that you have to be toxic. When I say stop telling men everything you're doing 24/7, allow yourself the space to live your life when you're out with your girlfriends, when you're doing things. It's not that you can't tell him that you're safe or that you're okay, but don't turn yourself into someone where you're like, oh, I have to let him know that I'm doing this now. I have to check in on him with this. I have to let him know every 5 minutes where I'm at and what I'm doing next, because it doesn't give him the space to wonder, what is my woman doing? Where is she at? What is she on? Who is she talking to? I wonder that. I fantasize about what she's doing. And I mean fantasize in the sense that you become like a dream. You become something that he actually spends time and energy thinking about. And then based on what he's thinking about, he then reaches out to you and says, hey, what's up with you? What are you doing? What are you up to? I was just thinking about you. I was just wondering about you. Again, men need to go through that process in order to recognize to themselves as well that I must really like this girl, because I find myself always fantasizing about her or always thinking about what she's doing. And I find myself always acting on the fact that I'm thinking about her and what she's doing by texting her, hey, what's up? What are you up to? And this and that. And you have to understand, like, that man is also observing himself, and he's also observing what actions he tends to take around this particular woman. So when he's constantly taking the action of reaching out to you because he's constantly thinking about what you're doing, he recognizes as well, I must like this girl a lot, or else I wouldn't be doing this all the time. Very important for our next one, I want you to stop planning your own dates. I promise you, it sounds silly, but a lot of you are doing it by mistake. You'll meet a guy and you'll get really friendly, really close with this guy. You start to like him a lot. As you start to like him more, now you feel like the pressure is on. You feel like you have this pressure on you to get a date out of him, and you feel like he doesn't seem to have that desire to like just push forward. And you're like waiting for him, you're like itching, you're like a fiend. You're like, when is he gonna ask me out? When is he gonna ask me out? And so you get sick of it, and instead of doing nothing like you know you should be, you decide to start doing something, taking matters into your own hands. So even though he's not asking you, are you available on Friday at 7 p.m., you tell him, hey, by the way, even though you didn't ask, even though you didn't say anything about it, I just want to let you know that Friday at 7 p.m., I'm available, and I'm letting you know that because for the next week, I'm going to be on a work trip or I'm going to be doing this and that. So I just thought it would be good to let you know Friday at 7 p.m. would be the perfect time for us to go on a sushi date like we were talking about to this specific spot. And if we went on there, it would be great because we could go for a couple of hours and I don't have work the next day. And then we'd be able to see each other before I go off on my work trip next week. And this is what a lot of women get into the habit of doing. And I don't want you to do. You do nothing. That man, if he wanted to go out on a date with you, can build up the courage, the understanding to be able to reach out to you and let you know that he wants to go on a date with you and he wants to see you and plan it and schedule it and ask you for your availability. Even in the smallest ways of sharing with a man your availability when he hasn't prompted you by asking you of your availability is doing something. And I want you doing nothing. Let that man reach out to you and inquire about your availability. And then you let him know when you're free. Stop doing that for men. They have a desire to desire you. They have a desire to inquire about you. You are not giving them an opportunity to inquire about you when you're the one planning your own dates. You are not giving them an opportunity to flex their masculine muscle and being able to say, I want woman, I get woman. I desire woman, I do things to get access to woman. My caveman mind, see, it hunts, it gets. You need to allow men to go through their process. Next, you have to stop being nice. This one is a plague. You think to yourself, when you start liking a guy, the scariest thing that could possibly happen to you is making that man upset, saying something that he doesn't like, saying something that would turn him off, saying something that would make him feel like, I don't want to be with that girl anymore. Get rid of that thought process. You do nothing for men. And I even mean that in the sense that you don't worry yourself about being nice to them. From this particular perspective, I'm not saying be rude to them or be disrespectful to them. What I mean by you don't even worry about being nice to them, stop thinking about how can I be more accommodating for what he needs, right? What's important to him, so that he can continue to be happy with me. Because what happens is, as you start to feel that way and think that way, you focus on adjusting yourself every way possible to get him to be happy with you. And that becomes a sickness. That dynamic turns into you becoming a pick-me, where you're like, hey, what do you need me to change this time in order for you to like me again? What you need to do when you're approaching men, when you're dating men, is decide to yourself, I'm going to express to him what I desire, what's important to me, and I'm going to allow him to choose whether or not he's on the same page as me. If he feels like me expressing these standards, these boundaries, these expectations that I would desire of any man who I'm going to be with, if he feels like that's too much, if he doesn't like those requests, if he thinks like I'm being over the top or whatever the case may be, that's fine. I'm not interested in trying to be the nicest person ever. I'm interested in getting the type of relationship dynamic that I want. So if a man has to meet certain thresholds to get access to me, I don't care about whether or not he thinks I'm nice or whether he thinks I'm mean. At the end of the day, the man that I know I want will be able to step up and step into that role seamlessly. The men that I don't want and that I'm not looking for will always have problems with that. But I'm not overly concerned with trying to be the nicest girl in the world to you. Because once again, men say they want a nice girl. Men say they want a girl who's happy-go-lucky and doesn't cause any problems and doesn't speak up. But in reality, when they get the nice girl, what do? They just walk all over her. And the girl that actually receives what she wants from men ain't nice at all. Next, I want to mention to you, stop trying to fix. Stop trying to fix him. Stop trying to fix your relationship. Stop trying to fix the fact that he hasn't reached out to you, or he's ghosting you, or, he's giving you the silent treatment. Your desire to fix as a woman and control as a woman will literally be the end of you. It will drive you insane because you will always find another thing that you need to fix, that you need to focus all your time and energy on. And again, it becomes like a virus. As you feel like, I need to fix this about our relationship, I need to do this, I need to do that, especially at the beginning, when I say doing nothing is the only thing to do, you will get into the habit of fixing everything. And then you will become like the Band-Aid of your relationship. You'll be fixing him, you'll be fixing yourself, you'll be fixing your relationship, you'll be fixing the silent treatment, you'll be fixing the no contact, everything you'll be fixing. What will he be doing? He will be doing absolutely nothing. And your relationship will take on the dynamic of you are the one on the gas pedal, meaning you're the one making the relationship go, you're the one patching up all the holes, you're the one doing all the work, and he's just along for the ride. What ends up happening a lot of times, especially in a dynamic like that, is as that guy is along for the ride, because instead of doing nothing, you're doing everything. Now all of a sudden, you realize maybe 1 year down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, sometimes 5 years down the road, that you've been doing so much work in the relationship that you don't even have a relationship unless you're doing all the work. I also want you to stop clearing your schedule for men. I know that this sounds very mean, very rude, very disrespectful, but you're not going to do it because you do nothing for them. Men will figure out how to get access to you, how to get your time, how to get your energy, how to get your focus. It's not your job to do something by saying, I'm going to make myself available to him by clearing my schedule. I had a family thing on Friday, but he wants to see me on Friday, so I'm going to cancel my family thing and just not go. Oh, I had my friend's birthday party on Saturday, but now that he's saying if we don't go out on Saturday that he won't be able to see me for another 2 weeks, I'm going to basically miss my girl's birthday party so that I can go hang out with him because I won't be able to see him for another. Stop doing that. You're done doing that. You do nothing for men. You have a birthday dinner on Saturday, you're going to that birthday dinner still. It doesn't matter if it's going to be 3 weeks till the next time you can see him. You have a family thing on Friday, you go to your family thing still. You have a work shift, you have a whatever it is, you stick to your schedule. If a man comes to you and inquires about your availability because he wants to take you out on a date, you tell him your availability based on when you're actually available. You clear nothing for him. You clear nothing for him. He can figure out how to adjust and clear his schedule to fit more in line with when you're available. Why do I say this? And why is this an important concept to understand? The men will say a girl who's more available is a better catch. I would like to be with that girl. But in reality, the way he actually develops the most feelings for a woman is by being with the woman who he actually has to do the most work for. It's more work to have to plan and schedule a woman multiple days in advance and figure out when she's free and have to work your schedule around that to then finally see her, be on this date with her, and realize to yourself, wow, I definitely had to go through a lot to sit down on this date with you, but I sure am glad that I'm here. As opposed to being able to order you up on his phone like DoorDash, you show up in an hour's notice. You're like Amazon Prime shipping. And when you're at his door, he doesn't even recognize how he values you or appreciates you because he can't, because he never had to put in any work to get you in front of him. I also want you to stop approaching men. Stop approaching men because approaching men does nothing for you. If a man desires you and he wants you, I want you to think as simply as this. My job is to be seductive. My job is to open the floor for him, to make him confident in the fact that if he approaches me, that I won't reject him, that I like him too, that I desire him as well. Once I do my job, once I play my role in making him aware that I'm also interested in him and he can approach me, that's all I need to do. Aside from that, I am doing absolutely nothing. Once you get that tick, it's a virus. Once you get that tick, that virus in your mind that says, why don't you approach him? Why don't you go up to him? Why don't you ask for his number? Stop and realize you are doing yourself and him a disservice, because he won't even be able to properly appreciate you as he should if you approach him. Because the stance he's gonna take once you approach him is a stance of, oh, let's see what she has to say. Let's see what she has to offer. Because since she approached me, the pressure is no longer on me to perform. She now has to make the best of the fact that she approached me and not feel like she's walking away from this empty-handed. Once a man is in the position where he doesn't feel it's necessary to have the pressure on him to perform, all of a sudden you get a way worse version of him. So a man will say, I would love a girl to approach me. I would love a girl to come up to me. But that's not what he actually responds to. He responds the best to the woman that he actually has to approach, build up the courage for, and get her number because he did that work. I also want you to stop asking men for things. I really mean that, and I know it sounds silly because you're like, how can I get what I want if I don't ask for those things? You get what you want by letting men know what you desire. Not based on what you need him to do, what he has to. No, you don't talk about that. You talk from a third person perspective of what you desire overall. And you allow the fact that if that man wants you and desires you, then subsequently he wants and desires to make you happy. That's why we have the term happy wife, happy life. Doing nothing is understanding that if I do nothing and I only focus on speaking towards my desires, that man will align himself with what my desires are, figure out how to take action in alignment with my desires so that I'm happy. I don't even have to beg him for anything. On top of that, what it will also do for both of you is it will allow him to feel like a man, because when he makes the choice to make you happy based on your desires, he'll feel like, well, I did those things for her, not because she twisted my arm to do those things, but because I want to make my woman happy. And I chose to do those things that I knew would make my woman happy because she spoke towards her desires. I listened to those desires. I took action on those desires. Now my woman is happy and I feel like a man because I feel like I was able to take action. What it also does for you is it makes you feel like a feminine woman because you didn't have to beg for those things over and over and over again. It also allows both of you to connect and appreciate each other while he subsequently builds his muscle memory and ability to be able to say, my woman's wants and needs are on the top of my priority list. And because they're on the top of my priority list, if she needs something, if she desires something, I make an adjustment, I make a change, I act on it, and I give her what she wants.